is get on to the spotlight of the week. I see that we've had a few people join. So for those of you who have just joined, thank you and welcome. My name is Sassy by name. And what I would like to speak about today is DeFi. That is the spotlight of the week. So what exactly is DeFi? Now this topic is absolutely huge. This will probably be touched on for the next couple of weeks to come, because there's no way that I could cover it in one spotlight of the week. So this is just a very brief overview. There will still be lots of pieces missing, lots of bits that I may need to come back to in the weeks to come, but just kind of know that what we're going through today will give you a better understanding of what DeFi is. So DeFi basically is short for decentralized finance. We've spoke about centralized and decentralized already. Remember, decentralized means it's not controlled by any one particular person. Finance. So it's a term for a range of decentralized services that aim to replace, whoopsie, my screen's gone a bit crazy. Bear with me. There we go. That aim to replace the current centralized financial system. So just think of it, it's technology in finance that is replacing the middleman. And the middlemen, we mean like banks and mortgage companies and loan companies and bridging companies. Those are all middlemen, and they can apply whatever rules they want to getting access to their funds. Whereas DeFi actually eliminates that because it's decentralized, meaning not one person can control it. And it just means a lot more people actually have access. So I'm jumping ahead a bit. So it's technology where it's replacing the middlemen in finance, and it allows us everyday people to become the lender, the borrower, and to approve the interest rates. And we can do all of this without the need of any banking institutions. So what are the components of DeFi? You have payments, you have lending, you have borrowing. You definitely need stable coins. Now, we went over stable coins very, very briefly in one of our sessions a couple of weeks ago. So if you haven't watched that one yet, please do get the recording where we explained what a stable coin is. But just really quickly, a stable coin is a cryptocurrency that is pegged or to be equal to the US dollar. So one particular stable coin will be equal to $1. That's basically how the US dollar is getting involved in crypto, so to speak. But that's what stable coins are. And another component of decentralized finance is decentralized exchanges. We spoke about exchanges also a couple of weeks ago. So if you haven't seen that, please do get your hands onto that recording as well. But we have centralized and we have decentralized exchanges. In order for it to be DeFi, you definitely need to have a decentralized one. So what are some of the examples of centralized finance? So Coinbase, Binance, and Huobi, if that's how you pronounce it, I don't know. But those three are just prime examples of cryptocurrency exchanges or companies that are taking part in this place, but they are still centralized. And how do we know if they're centralized? Well, normally you would have to do something called a KYC. Again, we went over this in previous sessions, so please do catch the recording if you haven't seen that. But KYC is basically know your customer, where you do have to normally upload some type of ID to show who you are. But who are you uploading it to? Who's checking it? Who's looking at your photo identification and thinking, okay, yes, that picture that they sent us looks very similar to the photo ID that they sent us. That takes somebody to physically do that. So that is centralized. If they can decide to let you in, because you don't necessarily accept it onto Binance or Coinbase. You could not get approved. So if they can let you in, they can also keep you out. And it's also based on the trust of the banks. We just trust that the banking system have our money. And I explained to you earlier, I went to withdraw about 11K, but anything over 5K, the banks are looking at you like, we don't have your money. And you're looking at them like, what do you mean you don't have your money? So it's, centralized finance is based on the trust of the banks, whereas DeFi, we are trusting in the coding. We're trusting in the coding of the cryptocurrency. So Ethereum plays a massive role in DeFi. All the decentralized finance currencies are built on the Ethereum blockchain. Remember I explained a coin and a token. So a lot of the DeFi currencies are normally tokens because they are built on top of Ethereum's landmass. Now, Bitcoin, it is decentralized money. However, because of the original coding of Bitcoin, it's not is not going to probably ever be a player in the DeFi space because the coding is actually quite limited. You can't build on top of it. And the speed of transactions is quite clunky compared to Ethereum. So that's just a point to note about it. So how do you know when something is DeFi? When I first looked into this, and I'm still learning, to be completely honest. So when I first looked at it, I was like, okay, so is this DeFi or not? How do I know? So I've come up with 4 questions or 4 points to consider. And what you want to do for this is you want to collect yeses. So ideally, bear with me 1 second. Thank you. Ideally, you want 4 yeses. So the first thing to ask yourself is it related to finance? So you have a yes. If it is, brilliant. Do I need an Ethereum wallet? ETH stands for Ethereum. Do I need an Ethereum wallet? If you do, perfect, because we want to collect yeses. Do you personally own your assets or own your crypto? What do I mean about that? Again, in previous sessions, please do get the recordings or please do check out the YouTube channel where we talk about having the private keys to your crypto. So if you buy your cryptocurrencies on Coinbase or Binance, I don't know if anybody is even still using Binance, but on those type of those type of exchanges, if that's where you're buying your crypto and you're leaving it on there, you don't actually own it. The only way you own it is when you get hold of the private keys. You can take your crypto off and put it into something like an Exodus wallet or into a ledger. That's when you own your assets. So if the answer is yes, then perfect, because we're trying to collect yeses. And then the final thing to consider is there any KYC required? So if there's no KYC required, as in know your customer, and that means you don't have to send in any of your ID or verification or anything like that, brilliant. That means if you get a yes to all 4 of those points, it is DeFi, it's truly DeFi. So there are some exchanges out there that are, I don't want to say posing, but they're leading people to believe that they are DeFi based. But if you have to even put in your email address a lot of the time, who's checking the email? It's kind of another form of KYC, depending on how you look at it. So just bear those 4 points in mind if you're wondering if something is DeFi or not. Now, finally, what are the advantages of DeFi? I did go into 1 or 2 while I've been explaining this, but the most amazing thing for me is the fact that anybody can access this. Anybody who has access to crypto. And I'm talking about people in like places like in South Africa or the Dominican Republic of Congo. Can you imagine the power of this? That there are people in like these secluded parts of Africa and Asia who can become their own bank. They can literally buy $100 or whatever worth of a cryptocurrency and become a lender or a borrower and earn interest through this technology. I think it's absolutely amazing. So it's truly inclusive. There is a lot of the population that don't own a bank account, and they are just excluded from the financial system, the traditional financial system that we know today. So for me, that is a major advantage of DeFi. Help to level or start to level the playing field because I'm a big firm believer in breaking financial generational curses and building generational wealth. And this is a true way to actually start doing that. So anybody who has a smart device, which most of the world does, they can take advantage of this. And that's something that's really true and dear to my heart. But it also gives us a wider range of financial services available. If you own a certain amount of Ethereum or Cardano, or I can't think of any currencies right now, but you can technically go and get a loan. Even if you've got bad credit in the normal financial system that we know, you can still go and get a loan based on your crypto portfolio. That is a major, major advantage. Again, leveling the playing field, leveling the financial playing field, a big transfer of wealth. This really is actually allowing wealth to kind of starting to transfer into people that are have been less fortunate. It's more affordable in terms of fees, so international and cross-border payments is reduced. It's very honest and transparent. So that means basically there's improved privacy and security because each transaction is encrypted. And it's also more efficient and more convenient for us than relying on the traditional bricks and mortar banking system.